Hi folks, it's Jonathan here again. Hope you're all keeping well. I'd just like to say a huge thank you to everybody who's subscribed to my channel, Jonathan's Spiritual Speakeasy. I'm overwhelmed with that, to be honest, so thank you for tuning in. And if I'd have got one subscriber, I think I would have been happy, and I am. So thank you very much indeed for that. And your lovely comments too. Please keep dropping them in, and please keep subscribing, and hopefully we'll begin to get that spiritual message out there that I think we all really need right at this moment in time. It's very, very dark times indeed. Seems to be getting darker. And just, well, literally almost a month ago, 21st of December, we were talking about the light coming back into the earth, and the spiritual side of things. My guides were saying to me that the light would return from the 31st of December. That's the spiritual divine light, by the way. Of course, the solstice does herald the coming of the lengthening daylight hours, which is wonderful, and we can see that already taking effect. If you look out on the window in the morning, well, when my alarm goes off anyway, I've noticed that there's a little bit more daylight there. There's a little bit more daylight towards the end of the day as well. Although tonight I can't honestly say that I can see that. It's grim. It's grim up north. So take my word for it, folks. It is. And possibly a better day tomorrow. So anyway, I'm not here for a weather forecast. What I'm here to really talk about is breaking cycles of behaviour, and I suppose it's a little bit of a follow-on to when I spoke about the death of the soul, really. I've been very much inspired to do this video now because I've just listened to an amazing video by a lovely lady, the name of Nat Rich, who runs I Am Sound Radio, who I'm very privileged to say that I'm going to be doing an interview with her tomorrow morning. Today's date is the 20th of January. And also to be involved in a few discussion talks about sound healing and spiritual matters, which is a wonderful thing to be able to be invited to. And to offer, hopefully, my slant on things along with the opinions and findings and experiences of other people, other wonderful souls in this world, who I'm really looking forward to meeting. So we've got to keep it real, as Ali G would say. Keep it real. If you remember Ali G, that is. You might not do. I do. But the video that Nat did, and I will put a link on this video to that for you so you can watch it. She really took the time to explain something very well, very well. If I could sit down and write the words, I'd probably take half a day trying to find the right words to express what she did in a matter of about 15-20 minutes or so. And it was as if explaining the kind of things that we feel, the awakening people, the awakened people, the enlightened people, call us what you want. We're all on a journey. It's a never-ending journey. And we cannot say that we are enlightened. We are becoming enlightened. We are always becoming enlightened. However, you know, we view our pathway in life, our spiritual pathway. But Nat did this video as if speaking to someone who doesn't understand this, or doesn't understand the alternative view of what's going on in the world right now. And it was absolutely superb. And if anybody struggles to find the words to speak to someone who is in that position, where you're trying to put a point across, but someone's been so far removed from an alternative view, if you like, or any form of view which kind of works against the mainstream narrative, then I believe she's achieved that. She's succeeded with that. So please do watch it, folks. It's wonderful. But I wanted to talk about this thing of cycles of behaviour. We all have our little idiosyncrasies. We all have our little habits, our little ways, the mannerisms, and I've got just as many as everybody else. And which is fine, because that's what makes us who we are. However, there are certain traits which we can class as genetic traits, and I'm not talking about the way that we look. I'm not talking about our physical appearance. I'm talking about the behaviours that we actually display. And as an example, and I've become very consciously aware of this over the years, being a Yorkshire bloke, I can be quite straight talking and basically say what I think. A spade's a spade. But it doesn't always serve to be like that in certain situations. And I've certainly picked up a trait which seems to have been kind of handed down the generations, whether it's learned or genetic. I would probably say both, actually, of greeting someone and highlighting one of their most obvious features. And my father demonstrates this very well, because if he sees anybody who is tall, he will quite happily say to them, "Oh, you're tall, aren't you?" As if they need to know that, or they'd perhaps forgotten. And I know this might sound very minor, but it is a trait, and it's not kind of an admirable one at that. And I've been guilty of it, and I'm working in my life to try and break some of these cycles of behaviour. And following on from that video, The Death of the Soul, I just want to talk about that we have to let go of things now. It's about letting go. This time is about letting go of the old world. And that includes certain facets of ourselves, certain behaviour patterns, certain traits that we've got to learn to let go of, to modify. Not that we give up being ourselves, being who we are, our personalities, our characteristics, what makes us what we are. Because those characteristics are what people love about us in many respects, and what makes us unique and different in this world. Because even though we are all connected spiritually, we have chosen to experience individuality on this planet and to be an individual being. And this kind of takes us down many pathways. The individual experience. And in some ways it can be extremely emancipating, in others it can be extremely debilitating, particularly depending on our perception of our own persona, our own ego, if you like. And we can change things. And there's a saying which never really has kind of worked for me. And that saying is, "Oh, you'll never change him. Oh no, he won't change. He won't change. She won't change." Well, you know what? I've actually changed many times in my life, modified my behaviour, and I liken it to David Bowie and the changes that he went through, and even gave one of his songs that title. That we all have the ability to change. It is one of our amazing attributes that we can find the ability to alter our behaviour. And this is being highlighted through history, through literary works. A Christmas Carol being one of the most famous, about the transformation of the character Scrooge. And if we look at history, the human race is just repeating behaviour patterns over and over and over again. And sadly, we don't seem to be learning from those behaviour patterns. We talk about bringing peace to the world, but continue waging war with each other. We talk about being less greedy, but the world seems to be becoming more greedy. There are many things about ourselves that we would like to change. And I believe that change starts within, from within the person, the individual. And if we can change ourselves, our behaviours, then collectively we will begin to change our human experience, the experience of the greater human family. And if we say to ourselves, well, we'll never change, this is always going to be how it is, then we're in a sorry state. And we need to really address that and look at that, take it on board. And we can go right back to history, prehistory, as I've already mentioned, the Roman times. And we've got to ask ourselves, how have we progressed as a race of beings? We think about the politics of the Roman times. There were massive, massive changes, major benefits of the Roman era that were brought to humanity. And again, highlighted very comically in the film A Life of Brian, in the scene which states or asks, what have the Romans ever done for us? So, on the one hand, we are absolutely able to change things for the better. But on the other, we seem to be absolutely able to do the opposite. And in an effort, it seems, for making life better for ourselves, we end up making it worse. And we've got to look at the reasons for that. And it's the basic reasons. And I'm going to go back to biblical times and the 10 Commandments and say that in those commandments we were given the basis of acceptable human behaviour. But anyone who has sought power and gained power, it appears, becomes corrupted by that power. And I've said for many years now, we cannot keep giving our divine and sovereign power to a very small minority of people. We are all empowered. Every single human being is empowered with their divine right, their right to be. But when we hand that power to someone else, they do not take our heart with that. And in many respects, that power is not received through the heart. It's received for purposes other than the purposes of good and for progression and the benefit of the human race. it becomes individualistic, working on the vibrations of greed, of power, exercising someone's will over somebody else. These are old patterns of behaviour now, and we need to begin to start thinking like this, that these are the old patterns of behaviour that are no longer acceptable in this new world. What is acceptable is compassion towards each other, love towards each other, forgiveness towards each other, giving healing, helping each other, helping those who are not as fortunate as we are. We have so much yet to learn, but we can begin learning that right now. And we have to learn to channel that through the heart space, not within the mind. The heart and the mind now need to work together. Just like science and spirituality. To make great advancements in technology, we have to combine our science with spirituality, with guidance from the heart, for the benefit of all humankind, not just certain individuals who take that technology for the purposes of power, greed and control. So we need to break these cycles that have gone on for eons upon eons throughout the history of humankind. We have the ability to make this a wonderful planet. And I always maintain that if humanity was taken off this planet tomorrow, the planet would absolutely thrive. It is our responsibility as guests on this planet to learn to live in harmony with it, to respect it, to give it our love, and to give all the creatures on the face of this earth and all the plant life and the mineral life the respect and love that it deserves. And remember that the earth itself is an organism. And when we look at the earth like that, we begin to feel a little more responsible about how we treat the earth. So folks, we've got to change. This time is now the opportunity for us to do so. And if we just go back to the normal of prior to 23rd of March last year, we are just repeating the old patterns of behaviour. The old patterns of handing our power over to someone else who cannot use it, will not use it wisely. We have to begin to find a new pathway, working with each other and ceasing the behaviours of division. We have to find new political systems, new ways of living. The monetary system needs completely overhauling. Health is a priority to everybody. But we must embrace new forms of healing and understand that healing comes naturally. Healing is not there to make billions upon billions of dollars and pounds and Deutschmarks and whatever else we go along with it. Euros. That was stepping back in time a bit there. But you understand where this is coming from, that we have to work together. And the division between us right now is keeping us on a very low vibration. We are ready to ascend to the higher frequencies, but the division between humans right now is keeping us very, very low vibration. So let's work together, folks, to break these cycles of behaviour, to begin to find the common ground between us all. We all have different opinions, but we cannot use that against someone. An opinion is not always the person. Our opinions and beliefs change over time as we learn, as we experience, as our spirit progresses. What we thought 12 months ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago changes. And we all know and see this. So now is the time for us to address our issues, find the common ground, stop giving away our divine and sovereign power to a handful of people, to begin to send out the love, to find the spirit within us, to work from the heart space, so that everything we do is for the benefit of all, not just for the one. We are all individuals, but we are all connected. It is part of our learning experience here on this planet. Imagine you are a cosmic visitor looking at planet Earth right now. How would you feel about it? What would you say about it? What would you say about us looking down now at humanity and the behaviour of humanity? Looking at all those borders between us that have been set up through political control. And seeing the earth and seeing no borders, because the borders don't exist, it's an illusion. Every single one of us is free to roam this planet. Every single one of us has the right to roam this planet. But we do not have the right to control every single one of us. We learn from experience, and that experience is changing to a newer, higher frequency. Let's embrace it. Let's look to bring the change around and to really allow our divine spirit to become what we are destined to become, and that is to be a representation of the divine light on planet Earth. Thank you very much, folks, for tuning in once again. And I feel like saying that was a political broadcast on behalf of the spiritual party. But I hope that means something. I hope that we can begin to build this better world for ourselves. Breaking the cycles of behaviour is so important. We are so much more than what we are right now. We are so much more than that. We have not yet even begun to discover our capabilities and our place in this universe, in this cosmos. But there are beings out there right now who are waiting for us to make that decision, to take that step, to change the behaviours, to accept the divine, and to go forward into a newer world of hope and love and compassion, and thereby we can then begin to join our cosmic families. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. Always appreciate it. Don't forget to drop us a like or a comment. Let us know what you think. And if you want to subscribe, I ain't going to stop you. Please do. And hopefully you can keep up with what's going on. Okay. Have a great time whatever you're doing under these circumstances. Remember, it's all about perception. If we perceive that this is a bad time, then it will be a bad time. If we perceive that there's greater times ahead, then let's go for it. Let's walk into those greater times ahead. Okay. Thank you for watching once again.